Hey everyone, welcome to our recap of the first episode of Amazing Race 14.
Wow, we gotta start by giving a shout out to Quiz 36.
Shout out.
Yo!
Alright, so 11 teams arrived in Los Alimitos, California via marine helicopter.
Wow, those teams included the flight attendants, Christie and Jodi,
siblings, Tammy and Victor,
mother and deaf son, Marjorie and Luke,
Steve and Linda married Hicks from the Sticks,
Kisha and Jen, sisters,
Preston and Jen, who are dating,
but angry at each other, the older married couple, Brad and Victoria,
dad and son, Mel and Mike, early favorites,
Amanda and Kris, dating,
Mark and Michael, stunt double brothers,
and Jaime and Cara, NFL cheerleaders.
Alright, so there's going to be 8 elimination pit stops.
Which I guess means there's going to be 3 non-elimination pit stops. So they need to fly to Switzerland by taking one of 2 flights. One is to Zurich and the other is to Milan.
And then they have to take a train to Locarno.
Right, once they get to their destinations. So the first flight was the Zurich flight. And on that flight was Tammy and Victor, Christie and Jodi, Jaime and Cara, Mark and Michael, Brad and Victoria, and Margie and Luke.
Alright, so Jennifer of Jennifer and Preston has never been to a train station before.
What's a train station? Is
So
that where the trains are?
They missed their train.
Yeah, they were way behind. So, it was very emotional for Brad, too.
On the train. It was really beautiful, though, the scenery.
Yeah, I still think he needs to get out a little bit more.
I'd probably cry, too.
Yeah, I might. Christie and Jodi, actually, the flight attendants, found a helper on the train, which was really smart because they got to where they were going pretty fast. So once they get off the train, they need to go to the Church of San Antonia. And, yeah, they got to sign in and get their departure time from the priest.
So there were 3 different departure times, 7:15, 7:30, and 7:45.
A little side note here. We find out that Linda is very slow.
Yeah, and she's tired, and her husband's yelling at her.
He's all yelly.
Yeah.
Nobody else's husband's all yelly.
Oh, God.
So, yeah, it's departure time, and they get a picture of a dam. Verzasca Dam. It's a big dam.
Go there.
Yeah, basically.
And guess what? It's a 70-story bungee jump, the second highest in the world.
All right, I'm already getting diarrhea just thinking about it.
It's a roadblock, and one person has to do it.
You need nerves of steel to do this.
Yeah. So the Stunt brothers were like, okay,
whatever.
Cool, whatever.
We do this every day. And Jodi, all right,
Notably
Jodi
scared.
was really, really scared, and she was like one of the last ones to go.
She didn't make a noise when she
was just
off.
like, okay, that was all right.
Like, I made it.
Yeah, I know. What was up with that?
What the hell?
It was almost like, I thought she died on the way down because she was just not doing nothing. All right, here's a little Linda speak for you. Go fast, but follow the speed limit.
All right.
What's the point of that? They need to travel by train to Interlaken, to Kleine Rugen Weise. It's cheese. So once they get there, they find out that they got to take these glorified toothpicks glued together, which they call cheese racks, up to the top of this ridiculously steep hill.
It was ridic.
It was ridic. And it was slippery as hell and full of feces.
And very steep. So
And I think it was all from that little Pomeranian.
I think so. No, there's another dog there too.
Okay.
So then they had to transport 200 pounds or 4 wheels of cheese back down the hill.
Swiss cheese. You think it would have been lighter. It had holes in it.
I would have eaten all 200 pounds on the
I
way
know.
down.
We'd have to go up many, many times. So Christie and Jodi were on a different train. And Brad and Victoria totally psyched them out and were like, yeah, we'll get on that train. And they found out that they were the only one on that train, which arrived like way later than the other train.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it was slippery. The Swiss dudes that were there playing the steel drums were like, ah, ha, ha, ha.
Yeah.
They were rolling around laughing.
A lot of people were dropping their cheese because the little carriers were breaking like nothing.
I saw lots of coccyxes getting bruised that day because people were holding the cheese and then they would like slip down the hill right on the coccyx, man.
It's bad.
Chiropractor Central. And like ice packs on the butt later on too. After they broke their coccyxes, or coxeye, they had to take a taxi to the pit stop in Stechelberg.
Oh, and then they had to listen for these 3 yodelers and follow the voices.
They were pretty bad yodelers too.
I don't know. I thought this
It was really annoying. I thought it was very annoying anyway. So, meanwhile, at the pit stop, Margie and Luke were the first to arrive.
And Phil signed it.
Way to go, Phil. That's freaking awesome.
Yeah.
So they won a trip for 2 to Puerto Vallarta, Mexico for 7 nights. That is awesome.
All right behind them, team number 2, Tammy and Victor.
Then Mark and Michael.
Mel and Mike.
Yeah! Amanda and Chris.
Brad and Victoria.
Jaime and Cara.
Kisha and Jen.
Steve and Linda.
Christie and Jodi.
Preston and Jennifer, you're eliminated. Thank God, you angry little chihuahuas.
Yeah,
They were at each other.
lasting very long.
They were nipping at each other's heels.
And the teams traveled to Deutschland, or
Germany.
And Linda gets lost in the Alps.
And Margie and Luke get creamed in the face with the pies.
Luke didn't look so happy with that.
Nobody likes that. All right, kids, till next time on The Amazing Race.
Much love.